Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. Hello, Cynthia. How are you tonight? Thank you for joining. Let's see if I can find the video and get your comments up. Hello, Lynette. All right. Hope everybody had a good weekend and a good day today. As you can see, tonight we are going to be using the Sweet Little Stockings bundle of products. Hi, Cynthia. Okay, we'll wait just a couple of minutes. While we're waiting, I'll show you the Sweet Stockings Designer Series paper. This is a 12 by 12 stack, and you get 2 sheets of 6 designs, each one double-sided. So you've got a Christmas one on the front, and then this is a neutral. And these adorable little stocking animals, and a neutral on the back. More animals, neutral on the back. Just some plain Christmas socks, and these are designed to fit the dies. So these stocking dies will cut out perfectly these stockings. Okay, so you've got that, and on the back of that you've got a Starry Night paper, more animals, again a neutral on the back, and you've got some Christmas bulbs and a pool party neutral on this side. So even if you don't like the animals, the reverse sides of the paper are beautiful for cards. Hi, Tracy. Hello, Jennifer. Thanks for joining, ladies. So glad you could make it. I've got at least 2 projects to show you tonight. If we have time, I have a third short little project. And if we don't, I'll post it on my blog and on the Facebook. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Well, wait a minute, let's talk. Next week on Tuesday, I'm going to start a series. I realize it's not December 1st, but it'll be November 30th, and that's close enough. So I'm going to start a series, which I'm going to call the 12 Projects of Christmas. And what that will mean for you is that I will going to try really hard to bring you 12 projects, one each day, except for Mondays and Wednesdays, because I have ballet and that just will not work. So I'm going to try to bring you one project every day for 12 days. And then I'm going to take the rest of the month off to prepare for the new mini catalog and to spend time with my family and friends for the holidays. Okay, so that's my plan. So that will start on Tuesday next week. All right, so let's go ahead and get today's project started. We will be using a new embossing folder, the Gingham embossing folder. This is a sneak peek from the upcoming mini catalog, which will run from January to June. And we're going to use this folder tonight. Okay? So let's move this stuff out of the way and we will get started. Our card base for this first card is a piece of Pool Party, 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4, which is halfway. We have a piece of Cherry Cobbler, and this is 3.5. yes, 3.5 by 5.5. And we're going to emboss this piece with that gingham embossing folder. We have a piece of the Evening Evergreen Organdy ribbon, which I have already cut part of off. And then we're going to use a piece of the Pool Party Designer Series paper. Okay, and I've already pre-cut this with the banner die from the Stockings. Okay, so all you have to do is put that in your die cut machine, run that through, and then you'll have this. And it really only needs about 4.5 inches by, you grab a piece that's 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches, then it will be plenty big enough to run your die through. Okay, so we've got that. You'll also need a very small piece, like, let's see, this is about 1/2 inch by 2 3/8 inch of the In Good Taste paper. Now I have taken and I took a piece that was about 2.5 inches wide, and I put this on my die and I ran it through just so I would have the stitching along the edges. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I did. Okay, so then I have that, and I ran this piece through the bark embossing folder. You wouldn't need to do that. It doesn't add a ton of texture, but it does add enough that you can feel it and you can see just a little bit. The wood grain kind of mutes out the embossing, but you still can tell it's there. But if you wanted to save a step, that's a step you could easily save. Then you're going to need some scrap piece of white so that you can, and really you just need a scrap piece no bigger than this would work. Okay, we're going to stamp an image and we're going to die cut a piece from that. So this card doesn't have a lot of stamping, so let's get that done and out of the way. So we're going to start by stamping the candy cane, and we're going to do that in Memento Tuxedo Black. And we're just going to stamp us up a candy cane. Okay, and I might as well stamp a second one while I'm here. Hopefully I'm not too low. There we go. That one looks better. Okay. And then when we run this through our die cut machine, we're also going to run this little banner die. Okay. So we're going to start by coloring this. And we're going to color our candy cane in Cherry Cobbler. So we're going to grab the light Cherry Cobbler, and I'm just going to color every other stripe. Okay. All right, and it's so tiny that I'm not even going to bother using any shading on that, okay? So I'm going to run that through my die cut along with the candy cane die, and then I'll also run this through, okay? So I've already done that. And you're going to need a very small scrap of old olive and a small scrap of cherry cobbler. And when I say small, oops, almost dropped that. I mean small. So this is the die for the cherry cobbler. It is a very, very tiny. And for the old olive, you need a piece that this little die will fit on. Okay. And then that's going to give you this. Okay, so we've got that. And then from the designer series paper, we are going to die cut out a couple of stockings. So let me find that. So this is the piece that you'll need for that. Okay, and then we're going to use the largest stocking. So you can pick any of the large stockings that this fits on. It really doesn't matter which one you use. Okay. And again, I've die cut that, and this is the stocking that we're using. Okay. All right, so we can set that aside. And then we'll find the piece of we need the little mousy piece. Which piece is that? Oh, here it is. I see it. Okay, so this piece with the German Shepherds has this tiny little mouse in it, and you're gonna fussy cut that little mouse out. Okay, and then you will have the pieces that we need for our card. So I didn't want you to have to watch me fussy cut, so there he is. So adorable. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting our card together. Well, actually, we need to run this through the die cut machine and emboss it. Let me get these out of the way so I can get the embossing machine up here. We're going to take this gingham embossing folder. This is not a 3D embossing folder. So the sandwich that we're going to need for this, let me get this in here. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here like so. And because this is a directional pattern, you want to try and make sure that you get those all straight. Okay, so we'll set that there. And bring in the die cut machine. And we need plate 1, plate 3, then our embossing sandwich there, folder, and then we need another plate 3. Let me turn that around so I can run it, and then we're just going to run that through. Stampin' Up! Recommends the hinge side first. All right. So now we have this piece with the texture. All right. So we can start assembling. Now fold our card base. And then I'm going to add my embossed piece. And when you look at these, both sides are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which side you put glue on. I'm going to use liquid glue because this is an embossing folder and I want the adhesive to grab and hold. Okay, so I'm just going to center this up. Oh, my piece is a little bit longer than 5.5 inches. I will be cutting it off. Drats. Oh well, this way I know it's the perfect size, right? Go ahead and give that a good press. And then I'm going to take my scissors that it's okay to get gunky because nothing sticks to them. And I'm just going to go along the edge of my card and trim that off. And be careful where I throw it. Okay. So then we're going to add our strip about here. I'll lay this down and line up my stitching on both sides. And put my stocking on here and see where the placement is. And that looks about good. So I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue to this because remember I embossed this with the bark 3D embossing folder. And I'm lining up those stitches. And I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals. Oh, that's not Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to pop up my stocking. Just going to use some edge pieces. And again, I'm using scissors that I want that it's okay to get gunky. I don't want to use my good scissors for that. Oh, and I forgot, you need to be careful here. This one needs to go far enough down that you can tuck some things in at the top of your stocking. So you want to leave this top part up here free of dimensionals. Okay, then I'm going to add, hello Elaine, hello Sharon, hello Laura. Glad you could join us. So we're going to put this right here so that it looks like it's hanging across our wood. And then we're going to take that candy cane. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the bottom of it. And I'm going to add this down inside my stocking, like so. And then I'm going to take my little mouse that I cut, and I'm going to grab a dimensional. I'm going to place the dimensional only at the top of my mouse of the package here, just like so. Okay, I'm going to make sure his little tail sticks in the front there. Put a little bit of liquid glue on the bottom. Peel off that backing. I'm going to put my little mouse right here so that he looks like he's coming out of the stocking with the package. Like so. All right. Then we're going to take this piece of organdy, evening evergreen organdy, and I am going to take and just cut off the netting part. Okay, let me show you the easiest way I found to do this. I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to stick this down in there to hold it. Actually, let's go this direction. That'll work better. That'll work better for me, I think. And then I'm just going to cut off that edge. With my ribbon scissors. Just like that. Now this piece you could save and use for another project if you want to. I'm good with throwing that away. I've already gotten 2 nice bows out of that one length of ribbon. Then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to tie it into a bow. And I will have little squiggly things coming off of it. And I'm okay with that. That ribbon is going to fray out some. If that bothers you, you can pull out those pieces, zhuzh up your bow, and then we're just going to take a glue dot Oh, my thing came off, my glue dots. I'll have to fix that later. And I'm going to take my take your pick tool. I'm going to take the pokey end and I'm going to roll that up into a little log. And I'm going to place it right there. My stocking. Add my bow to my glue dot. And I'm going to trim up my ends. And this piece is ready to be added to our card. Okay, so we're going to add this to the top of our card, centering it. And for this, I'm going to just use some Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to put that down like so. Move it on the back. And we're almost finished with this card. So then we're going to take this little tag that we cut out. And for this, I took Season's Greetings, which comes from the Penguin Place Bundle, which is back in stock. So if you want this, I would get it ASAP. So we're going to take that Season's Greetings, and I'm going to use Evening Evergreen. And I'm going to ink up that Season's Greetings. And I'm going to stamp this to the left, closer to the point than the right. I'll try and get that straight. Beautiful. Give that a minute to dry. Going to take those holly and berries that we had die cut, and we're going to add this to our project. Just going to take a little bit of liquid glue. I used glue dots to adhere my holly berries to my holly leaves, and I'm just going to use liquid glue now to adhere this to my sentiment here. Then we'll flip that over and we'll get some dimensionals. And we'll add that to our card, lining up the tag with the cherry cobbler here, just below. I want the bottom of my tag to show, and I want my stocking to show, and I want this to be straight. Okay, so we've got that. And the final touch for the front is to get the wonderful gems. Okay, these are in the mini. And we are going to add 2 small ones and 1 large one. These are actually real red. So what I did was I took my dark cherry cobbler Stampin' Blend and I just went around the top, and I tend to, on the sides, I use the bullet tip to go around the outside, just to get those darkened up a little bit so they look a little bit more cherry cobbler than real red. Okay, so then I'm going to take my large one, I'm going to put it down here and take one of those smaller ones, and I'm going to put it right here, and it looks like I came off of my glue dot. I'm going to fix that up. And then I'm going to get that second little dot, and I'm just going to set it right there. Okay, so there's the front of our card. For the inside, where did I put my stuff? Oh my goodness, there it is. For the inside of my card, I used the Christmas to Remember stamp set. This has a lot of really nice Christmas sayings, so I would highly recommend this stamp set. It does come in a bundle with the Christmas pinecone dies, but as you're well aware, when you have a sentiment only stamp set, you can easily purchase the stamp set away from the bundle if you're not interested in the pine cone dies. Okay? Nothing in that die set actually cuts out any of those sentiments, so it's purely a coordinating set. So I'm going to take this, and I've just taken a piece of that coordinating paper, stamped one of the presents from the stamp set, colored it in Cherry Cobbler and Pool Party, and now my inside is ready for my card. Okay, so we're just going to put that inside here. And for my envelope, I took one of the stocking stamps and I stamped that in Memento, and then I colored it with Cherry Cobbler and Pool Party Stampin' Blends. And then on the back, I used that Season's Greeting in the center so that now we have a coordinated set. What's the name of the stamp set? Which stamp set is it, Mary? The one that I'm using? The Sweet Little Stockings or the Christmas to Remember? So we've got Sweet Little Stockings, that's the stocking one, and then Christmas to Remember is the sentiment set. And I did get Season's Greetings from Penguin Place. Okay. I'm so glad you guys like those cards. Thank you for your kind messages. I appreciate that. All right. Hopefully, Mary, I answered your question. All right. So let me clean up just a little bit and we will get on with project number 2. It has a few more things, but fortunately I have pre-done a lot of it. So let's get this stuff out of the way and we can begin. All right. So our next project is going to start with a real red card base. I've got a piece of the In Good Taste designer series paper. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, standard card layer size. So we can go ahead and add this to our card base. And I'm just going to do that with some Stampin' Seal. Whoops. Don't adhere yet. I don't want you down. Okay, there we go. Let's get this a little more centered. Wait a minute, this is not lining up quite right. Let's see. No, that is correct. 5 1/4 or 5 1/2, so we're going to roll with it. I don't know why it's not looking quite right to me. Almost looks like I don't have this one cut at the right width. Because I don't, I'm 1/8 of an inch off. All right, let's see how we can fix that. I need this to go down to I'll cut that 1/8 of an inch off. Hang on. I'm gonna make this work because that's gonna drive me crazy. Okay, so let's that. There. That was the best way to do that. All right, I'll get that out of there later. Apparently I didn't cut that quite straight when I cut it. Okay, so we'll put that down. All right. Then we're going to take another piece of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. And I'm using the stone piece. Let's see, I don't think I have. Yes, I do. In the In Good Taste, this is a big pack of paper. You get 24 sheets and you get all these really cool texture pieces, wood and other stone knits. So we're going to take the stone piece. And again, I have taken this piece of stone and I ran it through the brick and mortar 3D. And you can't tell a lot on the front, but you can certainly tell that I ran it on the back side. But it's just enough to really make this piece look like it's a real stone wall. I don't know if you can see that texture in there or not. Okay, so we're going to use this piece. And then we have, and that was, this piece is, it started, this is 3.5 by 3.25. Okay. And we're going to add to this another piece of the In Good Taste. And this piece is 3.5 by 3/4 inch. And I ran this through the bark 3D embossing folder to make it look a little bit more like real wood. And this is going to become the top of our mantle. Okay, so that's how this is going to come together. So we can go ahead and add this piece to the top of this piece. And I'm just going to add that flush to the top. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of Tombow liquid glue. And remember, this piece is only 3.5 inches, and this is 3 3/4. Right? Yes. So I need to leave a little bit of room at each edge where I don't want to put adhesive. Okay. I'm going to grab my silicone mat here so I don't get sticky on my surface. Whoops. That popped right off of there. Okay. Let's put that down. It's going to take a minute to grab because I'm adhering embossed to embossed. So I need to give that a minute to dry and give it a good press. Okay. Let's find my smaller silicone mat. Okay. So this to this, now we need to do some stamping. Okay. So we're going to grab a scrap piece of basic white. We're going to get our Memento ink. We need a kitten. And we need the Santa hat. I think I pulled those out actually. Hang on. Yeah, I left them in. Okay, so we need the Santa hat. Ink that up. And then we need the puppy dog. I'm going to ink that up. And then we need the little sprig from this set. And we need quite a few of these. Okay. So what I did with these, I've got a piece of string in there I need to get out. There we go. Piece of that ribbon shred. Okay, so we're going to take these and we're going to stamp once, and then we're going to stamp off. First generation, second generation, first generation, second generation, first generation, second generation, and then you should have enough. Okay? We're going to color these with our Stampin' Blends. So our puppy's going to be done in light and dark crumb cake and some soft suede. And these color really very quickly. So with the soft suede, all I did was put some highlights on the ears here. I put a light crumb cake in this area, and on his ears, and his paws. Okay. Now, I know I'm not coloring very well. It's okay. And then we're going to put the dark crumb cake in here. Like so. Okay. And there's your puppy. For the cat, it's a good idea to protect your work surface too. For the cat, I used dark and light smoky slate. And what I did with her is I colored around the eyes and these little parts right here. Okay. And then I went back with the dark smoky slate and did the rest of it. Okay. And then I went back with my light smoky slate and I blended that all together. Ooh, good. Smoky slate held out. Okay, for the hat, we're doing that in light and dark real red. Okay. And what I did with that was I took my light and I went through the whole hat. Then with the dark, I went up in this area with some swirls. A little bit right there at the tail, along the edge, across here, and then swirl it all together, blend it in. Just that simple, okay? Then I cut all of these out with the matching dies. There is a matching die for these, but I fussy cut them because I didn't want the stems and I didn't want a ton of white. So I've got all that done. And we are ready to start assembling our project. Oh, the other thing that you will need to stamp is you need a piece of the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper, and with the memento, stamp one of the presents because all we need is the bow, and then we're going to fussy cut that out. Okay, I'm going to take a piece, another piece of the Heartwarming Hugs, and we're going to get the little stocking top, and we're going to put this on there, and then we're going to grab the toe. Okay, and with the toe of the stocking, it's best if you look at your stocking and then it goes like this, and that way if you put it at this angle like this, then your lines will run the way you want them to run. Okay, so it goes like this, and you'll need to cut out from real red, a piece of real red. You need to cut the largest stocking. Okay, so I've already got that cut, and this is what I mean by looking at the toe. So you cut out your real red stocking, and then you're going to look at this, line this up how it's going to go on your lines, and then run that through your die cut machine like that. It would be a good idea to just put a little piece of tape there so it doesn't move, and take that through the die cut machine. Okay, now I've also die cut out of the Designer Series paper one of the stockings. So we're going to use these stockings. Here's our dog and our cat, our Santa hat. Here's that stocking piece. This one has lots of little pieces, but it's super easy. I also cut from the pattern paper this tiny little goldfish in his bowl. I thought he was adorable, so we're going to use that, and that has to be fussy cut. There are no dies for that. Here's that hand cut bow and the toe of the stocking. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our stocking together. And again with this, I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue. Bring in my silicone mat. Move my stocking up here so it doesn't come up missing. So we'll just put a little bit of glue up here. Put this on like so. Across there. A little bit of liquid glue there. Line up that toe. Okay. Then we're going to add this little bow. To the top of Kitty's head here, like so. And then we can add Kitty to the stocking. I'm just going to put a little bit on the paws and right underneath the chin there. And then I'm going to add this to my stocking to make it one piece. Okay, so there's that piece. Then we're going to take this Designer Series paper stocking. Going to add Santa's hat to our puppy. And again, add a little bit of glue to his paws, a little bit to the top of the bottom of the chin there. Going to put this on. Like so. All right. So now we've got our mantle. Got these pieces. Got this. We're going to take and put a garland across our banner with those, or across our mantle with these pieces of evergreen bough. We're going to start up here. And we're just going to alternate these. And these I ended up not so much stamped off, so if you're going to stamp them off, then you'll want to put one full strength and one stamped off, one full strength and one stamped off. And I'm just going to put these across the top. So that it looks like a garland. If you get too much liquid glue, just put it right down there on your silicone sheet. Ah, Mary, this is a wonderful set. It really is. And you'll be seeing a couple of other things from me with it. Okay, so our mantle is now ready. And we can add this to our card, but we're going to dry fit this. And we need to stamp our sentiment. And we are going to stamp sending lots of love. We're going to stamp this directly on our designer series paper down here. So it's important that we get this all set. We're going to put our little fish up here on our mantle. And then we're going to put our puppy here and our kitty here, like so. Okay, let's go ahead and put our mantle down, and then I'll stamp my sentiment. Then I'll know that I have it in exactly the spot I want it. We're just going to put the mantle down flat. So let's get this where you can see it. We're going to put this on here. Center that up. Okay. Now I can take and put my sentiment down here. And originally I stamped it in Evening Evergreen, but I think I will like it better if I do it in Early Espresso. So we're going to try that. I'm just going to try and center that top to bottom and side to side. Yes, definitely better in the Early Espresso. Okay, then all that's left is to add our goldfish. And we're going to do that with a Stampin' Dimensional. And we're going to figure out where I put those pieces. So our goldfish is going to go on with a Stampin' Dimensional. Just put that on there. Pop this in the center so I know where to put my kitty and my puppy. We'll set that there and get some more dimensionals. Oh, got one of those sheets where things don't stay. The dimensionals, they were overly cut. All right, so now we can put our puppy dog right here, and I'm trying to just make sure that I get the stocking hook, which you can't really see behind the puppy. I want to make sure though that that is on the wood part. Grab a pair of scissors, turn that down, hold that off. And another dimensional. I think that might be good enough. And then we'll take our little kitty cat. We'll stick her right here. All right. Then we need a little bit of Wink Stella on the Santa hat. And I'm going to put some Wink of Stella on her little bow. And there's the front of our card. And then for the inside of our card, I've taken from Merriest Moments. This stamp set has some greetings, but they just weren't what I wanted. So I opted not to use, other than the sending lots of love, I opted to use other sentiments. And this inside sentiment comes from Merriest Moments, which we used last week. It's this A Joyful Christmas to You and Yours. And I stamped the smallest present first in Memento. And I had made myself a mask. So I stamped that, and then I masked it, and then I stamped the taller package beside it. Okay, so that it looks like the smaller package is in front. And I colored those with Stampin' Blends. And I used Evening Evergreen and Cherry Cobbler. And then we're just going to add this to our card with the Stampin' Dimensional. Or not, Stampin' Seal, sorry. All right. And then for the envelope, I took this piece of Designer Series paper. I put our adhesive sheet on the back of it, and then I fussy cut out Grumpy Cat for the front and the little mouse in the stocking for the back. And that gives us our matching stationery, and we have no naked envelopes. Okay, and it saved us a bunch of coloring. All right, so those are our projects for tonight. I hope you enjoyed them. Let me bring back in the first project. And remember, next week we'll start our 12 projects of Christmas on Tuesday, and we will do 12 projects I'm going to try and do them every day, except, like I said, Mondays and Wednesdays, ballet just will not allow for that. It's a very busy day. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. I'm so glad you guys love that. Thank you for all the nice comments. And I will see you again on Tuesday. Good night, everybody.